Hey Chris, hey Bianca, how you girls doing?
Good, good.
Doing great. Happy to be out here recording another podcast.
Another podcast. Is that two in a row for you?
I'm 2 for 2 today, and that is exactly how I would want to spend my day. So,
Actually, the good thing for me is that I'm recording a third podcast just after today, just after this one, for another guy that want to do like a business podcast with me on another app and stuff like that. So that's for later today. But
y'all, Pure Instinct is rocking and rolling. That's all I gotta say.
hey, only thing I have to say is like I'm just getting started. That's all I can say. I'm just getting started. Like, all right. So, Chris, it's so nice having you. Like, can you just explain to us before we get into that all the Pürest Sports Moment and stuff? Like, we always want to have like a better feel of who we talking to. So, could you do kind of like what is your where when did you start sports and where it got you?
Absolutely, absolutely. So I want to say I started playing soccer when I was probably in that 6 to 7 range. Loved running around, chasing the ball. Did some basketball in middle school, early high school. But once I got to high school, I knew like soccer was my way to go. Had opportunity to play all 4 years as a varsity starter with 6 of my friends that I grew up playing with. We were the first in our school's history to make the playoffs, and we had a lot of fun. And I also ran track. I always say, I had opportunity to run varsity track, but I don't know about you guys. It was something about getting a ball in a goal. Like track was just running, that was the accomplishment. That was the practice. All you did was run. So I liked soccer. I had an objective. I had something to do, something to accomplish, not just run.
For sure. I'm called in my family. I'm called the player because the father of my wife, he says like, you don't train, you just play. I just love to play. And you have to, every time you put a ball in my hand, like, I don't care what kind of ball it is, I'm gonna play. Soccer though is different because the ball is not in my hand, it's like in my feet, so it might be a bit different. I do like soccer though. I like soccer, but I trash a lot of soccer player like actually on every platform that I have, like, because sometimes there's some stuff in soccer that we'll go about it today. But there's something with soccer that I don't know if it's the. Did you like the? I know that you like to play, like, let's say a game, but do you like the practice of soccer, like that little kicking the ball to each other? Do you like that?
I try to make it fun. So I train soccer now. So I have a U11 team. And that's one thing. I was not a fan of going to practice, I'll be honest. So I try to make soccer fun for them, little mini games. I always feel like you're playing. Exactly. But yeah, I hated going to practice growing up. Okay. The drills, the lines, I wasn't a fan. I just want to play.
Let's face it, it's boring.
Oh, here we go.
No, I mean, no. I mean, the practice stuff. I mean, I play hockey. Hockey, like, practice are fun. You take the puck and just boop, 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 boop. It's cool. In basketball is so, like, high intensity that you go to the gym, like, bang, bang, like 3-on-2. Soccer is like, all right, you make that pass, left foot, right foot. I'm like, what? This is, hey, that's one of the reasons, I think that's one of the reasons, actually, that people drop out of soccer at 13 years old, because at 13 that's a big plateau for the people in soccer. After 13 you get a lot of people dropping, and I do believe that's when the kids actually understand now that it's not fun enough, like, to go at practice. I'm not talking about games, okay? Practice at 13 you're like, that's boring. So, like, and in basketball that's different. Like at 13, like, hey, that's cool, like but in soccer, there's something like you make soccer great again, because I'm telling you. So,
Bianca, are you gonna get him, or do I need to do it?
I'm gonna just say the one thing that I'm gonna say, and this is one of the things that I love about this podcast and just getting able to talk about sports, is literally you could offend anyone at any time talking about any sport, because you're out here being like, oh, track practice, like, I don't like to run, and I'm here being like, I was not a collegiate track athlete, no ma'am. And so right, I'm with Dom on the fact that when I think about soccer practice, I'm like, there's a lot of standing around. It wasn't my thing, but then I watch soccer and I love it. So I love conversations like this, but Dom and I will always have a very high contention point with one sport, which is Formula One. And I think at one point he and I are going to jump on a podcast and just duke it out because Dom has a very interesting understanding of what sports is. And I think it's great ideology to get into. But something else we would love to get into, because this is the Pürest Sports Moment podcast. You know, you talk about soccer and now you're coaching, but what for you is your purest sports moment as an athlete?
Oh, that's such a tough question. I think I'm going to have to take it back to high school. We were playing, we started off in this ridiculous division. We were young, like I said, we were 7 freshmen on varsity, and we were getting smoked, 10-0, 11-0 in our early years. And, we started getting better our sophomore year. And then our junior year, I remember we showed up and we just clicked. Like, I could know where you were going to be without turning around, like just had that energy. And I remember we were playing one game, and we were just having an off game. We had gone down 3-0 pretty early, and we just, that no quit attitude just like it triggered, and we're like, man, we've got this. So, got 1 on the board in the second half, and then probably 4 minutes left, we got number 2 on the board. And I remember kind of running down the field and being like screaming like, this is not over, like let's go. And we ended up losing that game 3-2, but I just remember that energy. Like, those probably were some of the best 4 minutes we ever played, because it was like, we've got this, believe in ourselves, let's go, let's push it. And like I said, I just always remember that moment of like my team coming together and like, we're gonna go do this, we can do this.
How important?
What kind of player you are? Like, where do you play?
I'm a striker.
Oh, number 10?
Yep. I can be.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna lie. We talk about that running. Like, sometimes I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing in the midfield, and I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go get ready for that pass up front. But I can be, depending on the game.
And what kind of player? Describe you like with one word. Are you like a Ronaldo? Are you Zinedine Zidane? Or are you a Messi? You have to be one of the 3.
Ooh.
She could be a German player.
Right? That's tough.
Headers?
That's tough.
No, Zidane headbutted.
tough.
That was not a header. That was a headbutt.
The only thing I know about German soccer is that they make a lot of crosses to do headers. They only do headers.
We like our ball control. Let's keep it at that. But great.
That's a tough one. I feel like I'm a little mix of all 3. Definitely, I'm gonna go with Messi for the height, because I'm pretty small. But got a good vertical leap, so I definitely could get in on the headers. So yeah, like I said, I was definitely one of those players. Speed was a real big asset. I was always going to beat someone in a foot race. I love the foot race. Like, you're not going to get it. If I get a through ball, I was going to beat that stopper hands down. But just, I like to, I love it.
Style.
I'm about to say, yeah, I think that would be my style. And then I'm good at getting to the right spot, and always, and again, I always like, the older we got, the taller everyone got. So sometimes they wouldn't even notice. I was like over here underneath them, and then I just, made a quick move. So
I love that. So you talk a little bit in your Pürest moment about, coming up through freshman, sophomore, and then junior year, and it's like you guys clicked. How important for you in your career as a soccer player was having chemistry with your teammates? Because we don't really talk a lot on the podcast about chemistry in team sports, but I'd love to hear your perception on it.
Man, I think that's so important, because if you don't have trust and like knowing like, hey, you're going to be there. I even see it sometimes in our younger age. I'm sure y'all seen like kids will all clump and it's like, oh, let's all chase this one ball. And part of that is that lack of trust. Like, I always say if my teammate got the ball, that meant I needed to get away from them and, go set myself up for that pass and trust that they knew when it was the right time to pass. So I think chemistry is huge. I think some of the best, and I've said it before, I've seen heartbeat talent because they had that energy, that camaraderie, that attitude, like, we're going to do this, we're going to kill it, we're going to trust each other, we're going to believe in each other. So I think it's huge.
Hey, what is it with soccer? Because I had a soccer player. I have so much question about soccer. So because I have some knowledge about soccer. Like, don't like. It's not like I despise it. I actually coach soccer too, like youth soccer. So I do like have
casually,
right?
I do. I'm a dad
casually.
coach. So yeah, I'm not. Well, I can't like. I'm a fan of soccer, but I'm trying to understand some of the stuff, okay? There's two, three stuff that I need to get out of my chest. So, first off,
Go.
What is it with the like formation, like 3, 2, 1, da, da, da. Like, is that really important? Like 1, 3 and stuff. Is that like for a player like you? Like, is it like some like garbage by coaches? Like, is that important? Because I know like Bianca, she played hockey. I play basketball. In hockey, there's some limits to what the coach can say. Oh, this is gonna be our formation. Like, come on, like let's go score goals. So, is that really important for you as a player? That's kind of like formation where 1, 3, 2, or I don't know what the numbers are right now. But.
So I look at it like zone in basketball. You know, you want to stay in your area, but similar to basketball, if you got somebody that's like wreaking havoc, we're gonna mark that person. You know, we're gonna be on them everywhere they go. So I always think of it as zone and man. But it's not necessarily all 11 players are playing the same thing. You may have 2 players that are just sticking with these 2 players, and wherever they go, they go. But then you have everyone else that's kind of staying in their central zone area. So I think that's just an adaptability. But yeah, I think the positioning so you can understand, like, hey, if you're supposed to be on the left side, I should not catch you all the way on the right side in line.
Okay, so it's always for defense than offense, though.
Again, it depends. I like, from my coaching perspective, I like my kids to kind of stay in their zone. You know, if you're on the right side, stay in the right side. It's okay to kind of tuck into the middle if the action's going over here, but I don't want you all the way in the action. You know, I still want you kind of in your central area, waiting for, being an option to kind of pass out of trouble.
All right. And do you feel the game, and I don't know how you coach because when I coach soccer, I actually coach soccer as a basketball player. So I do a lot of like fast breaking is really important for me, like in soccer when I coach. But that's not something that I feel that's not something that's really like coach. It's like in the culture of soccer, like to get that quick break and stuff like that. Is that something that you feel that's missing a bit for the game right now? That's a bit too much because soccer is a bit static sometimes when you look at the higher level. Do you feel that there should be more of an emphasis in just like fast breaking? Like, is that something that you feel that it could be done?
Yeah, I mean, I love a good fast break. I was kind of that fast break player where you get a through ball and now it's just a foot race. We're going to, get in there, see if we can get it kind of like in basketball. Like you got that breakaway, is that defender chasing you down going to make it? My sister, who always gave me crap anytime she came to my game, she was like, can we get a goal for like 5 points if it's back there, 2 points if it's here? She's like, I sat here for an hour and a half and the score is like 1-0. She's like, can I get a little action in here? So I definitely get where you're coming from. But it's also beautiful to see people literally play keep away, make 30 passes together, just hang out, on a professional level. So I can see both sides of it. Bianca, I don't know if you have a take on it as well.
Oh, goodness. See, I once again, I'm a soccer watcher more than anything else. But I think, I don't know, I kind of attack it in terms of like with hockey, it's very clear the forward versus the defenseman, right? Like the fact that what I loved about being a defenseman was that I could protect my goalie, but also I could go and score. With soccer, what's so confusing to me is you stop at the line.
Yeah. That
still to me is just I can't get over it. And I couldn't as a kid. I would just always forget. Like I was clearly that kid that played another sport, but like would come onto the like Saturday weekend team in like all of our same town color, like jerseys. And then like as a defender still run over the line and the ref's like, you gotta come back, sweetie.
What do you mean? You mean the outside?
Yes. Or no. Like as a defenseman, like you can't go across the center line.
You can if you want to, but like you're it's just not it's not a lot. You're allowed to go across that line though. Maybe as a kid, you're allowed to.
This is why I stopped playing soccer at 8, ladies and gentlemen.
You're allowed.
You're allowed, but it's like frowned upon more than anything else. And like in defenseman and hockey, you switch positions all the time. Hockey's such a fluid sport. So it's really funny to me when talking to other athletes about, something like a soccer, like a football to me is like, you are a defensive linebacker. Like that is what you do. This is what you're here to be. And for me, my understanding of sport is it's very fluid. Also being a track athlete, you're like, just throw me anywhere, coach, kind of thing. But, Kristeen, as we talk about this, how do you help players develop where they want to be positionally? That's something I'm always curious when I ask coaches. You know, like.
Me too.
Yeah, it's hard because, at a young age, you're like, I want to do this, I want to do that. So kind of our philosophy is we play them everywhere. I mean, me and Point, I thankfully got out of playing goalie when the goal kept growing and I didn't. So they finally let me stop. So like literally, I think a lot of players like, oh, you're tall, you're going to be goalie, and so I try to always play them kind of where they want. I let them try new things, but kind of a rule of thumb, you're always going to want your fast ones up front.
Okay.
You're going to want, I always say I want my endurance ones in the middle because they play from goal box to goal box. And, again, that's why we asked about being a 10. I'm like, shout out to those midfielders. I tried to stay out of it because that was a whole lot of running back and forth. And again, I always say you want your defenders to be really tough, not afraid to step and take the ball because they got to take it. I've seen soccer hits that make a football look soft. It just depends. But and I have bounced off of defenders. I don't know if y'all saw the video where the guy bounced off LeBron. I was like, I've done that in soccer. Like you run into someone, it's like brick wall, boom. So yeah, I think that would be it. So your bigger, stronger, taller ones in the back, your endurance ones in the middle, and then your fast ones up front.
So it really sounds like you.
Yeah, do you play with like growing up? Did you play a lot with boys? Because you seem to be someone who loves to go fast. So would you play with the boys like soccer all the time? Is that something that you did like growing up?
I played all the sports with the guys, from soccer to basketball to riding four-wheelers, dirt bikes. I was the stereotypical top boy growing up, and still am.
So before Bianca goes in, there's one thing about I made a controversy over here in Quebec about 2 years ago when we had a challenge in Pure Instinct where it was not in Pure Instinct. It was just like I was challenging people to come to a game of Pure Instinct and show me something about soccer that I did not understand watching a lot of Messi doing the free kicks. And that made like a stir in Quebec because look at this, he doesn't know anything. I knew I didn't know anything. I just wanted to understand better because the sport I know more is hockey because I play a lot. And in hockey, one of the ways you actually can score against a goalie from, let's say, a defenseman is that you snap. And there's somebody in front of the goalie. So the goalie's always like this, okay? So sometimes it's kind of tough. And Bianca,
the goalie's screened, Chris.
Yeah. But in soccer, for some strange reason for me still, okay, you guys put a wall in front of the goalie to do the free kicks. And I know the guys are really, really good hitting the ball. But don't you feel that sometimes it kind of like is easier because the goalie doesn't see the ball at the right time? It seems like sometimes the goalie is missing 0.5 seconds, and then the shot goes like above it and stuff like that. So I was kind of like wondering why. And I know some coaches have been like working out on some strategy against Messi because Messi is so good at it right now.
Yeah.
How do you feel about those like walls? Like it seems like it's like. My daughter, she's 7 and she's playing. Okay, do a wall. Like, everybody's like doing a wall now, like a 7-year-old. How do you feel about the wall stuff?
Well, first, I like to point out to both you guys, I want to learn how to play hockey. So when we meet in person, I expect some tips. All right.
Can you skate?
So I'm assuming you guys are talking ice skating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can make it. I could use some pointers, but I managed to go and not fall.
We'll start slow. That's all you need. If you're athletic, best place to start.
Yeah. You guys went out for 1 sec, but you're back.
Yeah, you're good.
But to answer your wall question, you'll see a lot of youth parents like build a wall. And I think some of them are like, I don't know why we're building a wall, but let's build one. So ideally, you want a wall to help try to stop the ball before it gets to your keeper. But you also want to make sure that your keeper can see. Both of those things need to be accomplished. Because if you're blocking the keeper's view, you're defeating the purpose.
Right.
Okay. And yeah, because I'm not like, and just for the record over here, I'm not getting into that wall. All right. Like, I'm just not. Like, it's just like, I'm just not those guys. I don't know. Like, the ball comes fast. And I know that I saw some first, hey, first time I went to a college game with my kids. My kids are playing soccer. Okay, first time. Hey, I'm gonna bring you to the college. Like over here, they got a really good team. First time we step on the field. First time. Okay, after 10 seconds that we sit down, a girl kicks, like the ball's coming to her, and she kicks the ball like right away, like a one-timer, right into the face of another girl like, that was like 4 feet from her, okay? And the girl goes, pow! And then she's knocked out ever. The ambulance has to come, like, and then we had to go because we were only there for like 15 minutes. And the only souvenir that the kids were having of watching soccer that summer is that a girl got knocked down and the ambulance came, and that was the souvenir of soccer. How prevalent is it like for you, like to, because people don't realize that soccer, when you like they say, it's not non-contact. It's like it's a lot of contact out there. Like,
very physical.
It's really physical.
Well, first, I like to point out, only because she got knocked unconscious did she not get back up. Because let's just say, female soccer players are so much better than men taking it. I've seen Abby Wambach get stitched up on a field and get back up and play. So, guys no one will be around them. They'll just grab something, collapse, roll around, realize no one's looking, and like, oh, let me get up.
Oh, that's a guy thing only?
Oh, that's totally a guy thing. You guys should be in Hollywood.
The Italians.
No. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, in soccer, like, girls don't do that in soccer. That's boring stuff.
In soccer,
no,
in
we get
soccer,
back up.
girls get back up. I had a rep in my high school days. I broke this girl. I was taking a shot at the top of the key. This girl trips me, falls on top of me, snaps my collarbone in half. Of course, I was still playing till my coach finally made me come out. And ended up having to have surgery, the whole saga. But when I came back to school, I found out the football coach had gotten all the boys together and told them basically they were punks because a female soccer player broke a bone and still kept playing. So then I had like this rep. So it was kind of cool.
I love that.
You got street cred.
Absolutely street cred. But no,
were you the girl like doing the penalty too?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Have you ever done that sweet penalty where you just like kick the ball just under and just a small kick to the net? Like
I haven't, but I do like to brag that my record for penalty kicks is perfect. I have yet to miss one.
Oh, snap.
It is. I can't tell you if I remember how many. It's probably somewhere like the 30 to 40 range, but it's been perfect. So I'll have to brag about that one. Thank you.
Okay. There's one rule in soccer about penalty kick though that I can't understand, and a hockey player can't understand. I'm sure too. Why?
Mustang.
Because I'm going into the box, I'm moving around, and you tripping me. Okay, just before I kick, and then the other guy, he's the one doing the penalty kick. I'm not even the guy kicking the penalty kick while you tripping me. That's insane for me. Explain that. It
depends. I mean, well, you have the option. So a lot of people, you want to put your best kicker up, right? You want the person that's not going to miss, most likely to make it. Sometimes, like, there have been some where they're shaken up, and they actually really are kind of, a little hurt. So you don't want them, doing the kick. So it just depends. But I mean, it's
explain to me. I mean, as they say, the soccer is a beautiful game. So explain to me as. Why is that a rule? I mean, if I play basketball and I get hit, I'm the one shooting the free throws. There's no like, I'm hurt or like I'm not a good free throw. How come it's not the one who gets hit that has to do the free kick or the penalty kick? That's something that's insane for me.
On that one, you're gonna have to ask the people who made the rules of the game because I have no idea.
I will.
No idea. But you are right. In basketball, heck, we've all seen the videos of, Kobe with the messed up Achilles, ankle, knee, anybody. They're going to make those free throws for they limp into the locker room, Even Clay, in the playoffs, he made sure he hit those free throws for he went. So I understand where you're coming from because, like I said, I'm a multi-sport connoisseur.
Bianca, if I follow you, like let's say you're in a breakaway and I follow you, like I trip you in hockey. you're going to be the one who's doing the penalty shot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no. And
No,
then
I mean, it's a rule. No,
it's a rule.
Yeah, is it required? Okay.
Yeah.
And then in hockey, if it goes into a shootout, then that's when you can pick your players.
Yeah.
Got you.
But if it happens to
didn't know
you, you're getting up and you're taking that. And I think there's something so beautiful about that because of how angry, I hate to use that word, but how frustrated, how passionate you can be in that moment because you already feel like something's robbed from you, right?
Absolutely. It's so funny on that point. I was playing a tournament in Europe. I never played professionally, but I have had the opportunity to, play overseas and do a couple tournaments. And this girl went for a high kick and literally her cleat hit my throat right here. And so the game was tied at the end and we went to penalty kicks. And I literally said that. I was like, I'm going first because, we're winning this game. I was so mad. I was like, I've got this. It's me. Move out the way. So I 100% agree. And I know people have felt like that. After they got fouled, it's like, I'm doing this. Everyone move out the way. But we have the option. It's not required that it has to be the same person that was fouled.
Yeah, I think it should be, though. That's something in soccer. I think it would... Some of this stuff, some goal scorer like Ronaldo, he scores a lot of goals because sometimes he does a lot of penalty or free kick that he was not the one who did who brought the foul. And I think that it's just if you're a good soccer player, you have to be good in all phases of the game too. So I think that make it more beautiful. And I'm gonna keep that in my notebook for when we're gonna talk about that in my other podcast. So that's for sure where we try to change the rules of the game and stuff like that. I'm bringing that back. So have you seen Chris? Have you seen the NFT craziness right now with the Top Shot and all that stuff? Have you seen that?
So I am still trying to wrap my head around the fact that people are paying millions to not have a tangible asset. It's blowing my mind. I mean, I'm trying to understand it and get in it. But it's just blowing my mind for digital art. Literally, I keep going back to wait, you want to own this highlight for millions, but I can go watch it on YouTube. And they're one of my friends explained to me, but you own it. There's only 20 and you own it. That's the difference. So it's crazy.
My wife told me that too. I think for something, I think it's really a boy thing. I'm not into it at all. I think it's a boy thing. Women will probably never understand that because it's crazy. Okay, so women are not crazy. So that's one of the things. I think that might be something. But I was talking to my wife about that, and then we went to Top Shot, and I showed her a Dame Lillard shot, and she was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. It's not just one shot. It's a really a moment with different angles. So you won't get that thing." High quality.
That's fair.
On YouTube. The stuff that I saw was it was really looking good. It was wow,
okay.
I wish I had that. And
the graphics are nice.
Let me get you on that. Is there one goal? Let's say goal. Okay. Is there one goal that you did that you wish you had 10 camera angles on you that? From
several. Heck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me two.
2 goals?
Yeah, 2 NFT goals for you.
2 NFT goals. So one of my all-time favorite goals, person took a shot, it hit the crossbar and went up in the air, and I was running into the box, jumped over the goalie for the header. Definitely wish I had that moment. It's not on video. It's not anywhere. I might have played someone's college soccer with that
Jumped over?
Over the goalie. Cleared the goalie. So, ball hit crossbar, was going up. I came running in, jumped over the goalie, met the ball, goal. Like I said, but that was back in the day before cell phones were even that great, so there was no one sitting there recording it. So it has to hold in my memory.
Kristeen, we have to bring you on a Pure Instinct show right now. You got some basketball, you got some soccer, you running fast,
I love
you
it.
Jumping. You're gonna be our model for the next generation for sure. I love it.
Man, I'm ready. I'm about to tackle foot golf. Because I heard about that. I'm foot golf, man. I mean, you guys got to take me back on that. But it's a whole thing. We have a World Cup for it. Literally foot golf. So it's like golf, but instead you kick the ball.
With a big hole. Yeah.
I'm
So you
looking
gotta stay
at
tuned.
I'm
A
looking
year
at my
from now,
golf
let's
clubs.
circle back
Like,
and see
what
where
is
I've got
it?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
circle back with me a year from now.
A year from now. I think I can get behind it.
Yeah, it is something. It looks boring a bit, but it is something.
Here we go.
You're boring. But no, I'm all like, I will try. I will do any sport. Like, I'm big on just being out there running around. Obviously, we get older, we fall apart a little bit, but I still always try to go out there and play and have some fun.
Wait until you have kids. So, and what's the second moment? The second NFT moment?
Second
you don't have
NFT
to go like
moment.
soccer
Second
again.
NFT moment.
If you have other stuff in soccer, you go, but don't go like with the
Trying to think.
Don't like a foot golf for me.
I haven't played yet, but it's on my list of things to do.
Oh my goodness.
Only real sports.
Oh,
real
this
sports.
man. Or
ouch.
even an NFT moment from when you're coaching.
Ouch. We're gonna have to talk about you and your disrespect for the beautiful game. You.
Not against soccer. This was foot golf.
No.
Yeah.
Football.
No, I know.
Whoa,
That's
whoa.
fair. That's fair.
I was like, when you say the beautiful game, I think soccer. I think of Adidas.
Soccer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer.
But you know why I love soccer? Actually, the one reason I love soccer is not even what I watch on TV. The one reason I love soccer is that when I go in Costa Rica, in a place like this, I went to Mexico also. It's just beautiful to see the people playing like the freelance soccer. For me, like at the park, I think it's just the nicest. I call that street sport. I love that spirit, and Bianca, like I'm a kind of skateboarder by heart. Like I love that kind of like free flowing stuff. I just hate soccer, the organization of soccer stuff. I think it's too rigid for kids and not enough fun.
I can see that.
Like my kids are playing soccer and they don't have enough. Like the practice finishing is like, all right, would you like fun? Like come on, they're 7 years old. I know my daughter. She's running everywhere. Like you put a ball in her hand and she's having fun. And now she's at her practice and she doesn't have fun. So that's pissed me off. So that's the reason. But when I go like to Costa Rica and I go surfing over there and there's like a soccer pitch around the corner, it's like not looking good. The grass is not looking good and stuff like that. But then the kids out there are just having so much fun. That's why I love soccer. Actually, I just love how easy it is actually to play. Yeah, I think it's probably the easiest sport to play actually as a kid. Like you just put a ball on the ground. You don't have to learn how to skate. You don't have to have something in your hands. You just go, you just kick the ball, and then you're a soccer player at 4. So basketball is tougher because you have to dribble. Like even like pure instinct when I invented, it's tougher because you have to catch a ball, you got to throw it. Like you have to catch that ball. If you throw it to the ground, it's kind of over. So it's like boring if you're too young. But soccer is a great sport for, like, I think it's a great sport for younger. It's just that the way it's coached, I don't get it.
I can respect that because even as a coach, I try to, make sure they're having fun because, you're putting a lot of time in that. And even to that point you just made, probably 98% of the time, I can only think of maybe 2 trips it didn't happen. I always play soccer. Whether I leave the state, whether I leave the country. I remember the first time I went to New York, like I was there for I was in college and like they paid to fly me up, had a hotel on, the district, everything. What did I do? Walked to Central Park and played soccer. Like that's what I wanted to do, And so I 100%, I love that about that too. Like I've been to China, played soccer, was in Costa Rica, played soccer. It's like no matter where I've gone, if we not speak the language, you may not communicate at all, but you have a ball and I'm like, let's play, we start passing. So I think that is one of the beautiful things about soccer is that everyone plays it.
Yeah, and I like like over here in Quebec, we have a lot of African actually. So the way the African play soccer is so different. They have so much fun. They just put like 2 sticks. They have like no goalies allowed and stuff like that, and they just play for hours. They just play and just for that. I think that's why I call it the beautiful game for me. It's not that much for what I watch on TV and stuff like that. I just love the way it's a freelance sport. For some people in the world, actually, it's a freelance sport. Obviously, in North America, like Canada and US, it's not that much freelance. It's serious business.
Got you. Well, I'll give you my NFT moment is not mine, but I think it's one of my favorite sports moments too. And even though I knew it was a spoiler alert, I knew it was going to happen. And I don't know if you remember this moment, but 2011 Women's World Cup, they were down 2-1. We're in extra time, like 121st minute. Megan Rapinoe does this insane cross. Abby Wambach finishes it, and then we go to penalty kicks and ultimately go. Like, if I could have that as an NFT, I think that would be pretty cool.
Hey, I got a question for you. You said Abby Wambach 2 times now, so I have my question for you. Abby Wambach or Kristeen Sinclair?
I gotta rock with Abby. You know, she's repping for the USA. But I have lots of respect for Sinclair. I've seen her have to play a few times. So, you know, I really like Nichelle Prince, who's on the dash. You know, she is Canadian. So, like, you know, a lot of good players up there. You know, Sydney Leroux's technically Canadian, but plays for the U.S. So, with much respect. She is. Oh,
I didn't know that. Yeah. Canadian soccer is pretty good. It's pretty good, too.
It is. And, you know, it's unfortunate for us. Unfortunate, you know, we tend to be powerhouses in soccer just because we've put more money into it. You know, some of the other countries around the world, as far as women are concerned, have not invested that type of money in growing the game. But I am glad to see it is growing. But again, you know, Canada, Mexico, United States, we tend to be powerhouses on the women's side.
So why is it that the men are so bad? And I'm talking about Canadian too. A Canadian team, if I go on Google right now, they have a ratings of teams. I think we like 120, something like that. Like, it's crazy. Like, we're so bad. Why is it like that men in America can't play soccer?
If it's my personal, 100% my personal opinion, I have no idea. I think it might be politics too.
It might be politics. So obviously, as we know, like, very German, and so even though I've had the opportunity to wear USA across my chest, when it comes to international soccer,
it's Germany.
I have German jerseys. I have Bayern jerseys. Like, it's not even an option. It was something that my dad and I did that I would love to do with my kids is, you know, wake up early morning, watch the World Cup, and we yell at the TV in German as Germans do. So I've never had an issue of my men's team being bad. So it is so funny for me when I'm in this conversation because I'm like, yes, I'm in the US, you know, yes, everybody, you know, I believe that we can win, that whole chant. And I'm sitting here like, I mean, I'm coming back as a cup champion, but of course, get it out in the first round. We don't need to talk about the curse. I do think, you know, to Chris's point, it has to do with politics. I think it also has to do with the fact that, you know, soccer isn't played as much as in other countries, especially European countries.
What do you mean politics? Like,
so when I talk sports politics, and Chris can back me up on this, and Dom, this is something that, you know, you and I have kind of played around with in the U.S. versus Canada is, you know, the club levels, right? You know, the AAU type tournaments, the development teams,
the feeder programs,
and it takes a lot of account into the time, you know, obviously socioeconomic status, availability to different types of training camps, tournaments, things like that. So that's
how you go up the ladder.
Correct. It's much more about things around you and less about you. And sometime we'll have to get myself and someone else who's gone through a dev program to talk about the steps. But that's really, you know, especially in the United States, that's how they do it, is going through these different types of camps and having these tournaments and opportunities. And you have to always try out. And then you never know who's sitting there making the list, right? And to some extent, that's every team. But I love using the example of Miracle, the hockey movie, of course, where you see here Brooks have this roster. And the other coaches say, but these are the best guys. These are the guys that we've already talked about. And he goes, but these are the guys that are going to make the team the best. And he goes with those individuals. And I think America typically, and wow, this is me, I kind of going for it, but has had an issue where it is more about the development camps and the academies and less about the individuals, I would say.
And I like to point out, and I'd point out something. I was talking to someone and we were talking about Usain Bolt, who is just, phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we'd say, like, what if Usain had decided never to run? So
right.
I always say it's the fastest person, fastest team, best team, whatever, that's competing.
Yeah.
Because just imagine, had Usain Bolt never decided to run track, we wouldn't know he existed. We wouldn't know that speed is out there. We would have a different fastest man in the world. So you just go back and thinking, what talent exists with people who just don't have the opportunity?
Right.
And Usain is a good, I think it's a good example because he's 6'5" too, and he was not born to be when I was growing up, the model for the fastest man was maybe 6 feet. Like Donovan Bailey was, I think, 5'1", and so a guy like 6'5" was not that's not 100 meters. So I think you're right about that, and that might be something about sports like soccer, like you said. I think they kind of make a disservice of themselves where they actually hockey does that a lot too in Canada, where maybe in the States where they actually see the athlete really young, really young, and it actually let's say a 10-year-old over here in soccer, they say, okay, this is the players we're gonna ride with, and then they go, and when you go in the World Cup. I read some stuff about that if you're looking who's on the World Cup roster of those teams out there, most of the athletes that are on the World Cup roster were not in the juniors actually World Cup or stuff like that. Okay, because some of the sports we don't realize. Basketball is really like that. I was not good until 18. I was not a great player. I was an okay player until 18, and then at 18. I kind of, okay, this is it. Oh, this is how we play. And stuff I can jump higher and stuff like that. And we forget that people don't develop all as messy, great at 10 and then great at 25. That's a rarity in team sport.
Yeah.
Because there's so much element. And we actually try to pinpoint to say, okay, these guys are going to be the 10 guys we're riding with. But there's so much thing happening from 10-year-old to 18 to 20. That we forget, and then just like you said, that Usain Bolt of soccer is out there, and he's not on the team right now because he can't do this or he can't do that. So,
and that brings a great point. Sometimes, especially these youth coaches are so worried about picking a team that wins, and it's this kid may not be the best, but if you invest some time, help them develop, in 3 years, they could be better than everybody. So I think that's a big thing for youth sports. Stop looking for the best that are there now. Kind of like you said, look for attributes, look for leadership, look for coachability, and help develop them into being the best.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we're gonna close that podcast on that note because that's wisdom out there. So I like to cut out the podcast on just some wisdom stuff. Hey, Chris, it was a pleasure. Thanks.
It was a pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Chris.